Well, there's a warning tonight from some of the nation's largest retailers, companies like Walmart, Target, and Costco, among the more than 600 businesses who are urging the president to end the trade war with China. Those companies signing on to a letter which was sent to the president and the White House saying, quote, broadly applied tariffs are not an effective tool to change China's unfair trade practices. Tariffs are taxes paid directly by U.S. companies, not China. The National Retail Federation is behind this latest message, and joining us now is one of the organization's senior vice presidents, David French. David, good to have you in here tonight.
Thanks. Nice to be with you.
This letter got sent out over to the White House earlier today, a couple hours ago. The basic message is cut it out with these tariffs.
We're concerned that the escalation to the next level of tariffs will be felt by the American consumer. We're talking about
Are they being felt now?
Not as much as will happen. Certainly, in some products, we've seen tariffs affect prices, but the next level of price increases could be quite severe. Tariffs are a tax paid by the companies that import products and their consumers. And we're talking about $300 billion in products, right, which will translate to, for the average family of four, about $2,300 a year in extra costs.
Now, to be fair, you applaud the president for taking this stance against China, for trying to hold China accountable. You just don't like the way he's going about it re-tariffs.
That's right. We need to make China accountable. We need to help China reform their system to be more fair. But tariffs aren't the answer. And you can see this around the world. Other countries are benefiting from our unilateral approach. If we brought all the countries in the world that will benefit from reform in China to the table, we might be able to get to a better result without imposing these costs on U.S. consumers.
I got to hear you. When you hear companies, got to tell you, when you hear companies like Walmart and Target and Costco who are concerned, I mean, those aren't the small fish. Those are the big fish in a pretty big pond as well. What are they telling you guys?
There's no way to avoid these costs. There's no other country that can produce as much capacity as China. So you can't. Supply chains don't change overnight. These tariffs, if they're left in place for a long time, will have a significant impact on not only on the cost for consumers, but also on what consumers buy.
You know, you say supply chains don't change overnight, and that's right. But the president is also making the case that companies are going to start moving back to the U.S. Are you seeing that so far?
No, not very much. We have some capacity here, but we have a labor shortage here. There's not going to be a lot of capacity brought back to the United States. The biggest beneficiary is probably Vietnam. The next biggest beneficiary might have been Mexico, but there's now uncertainty about what's going on in Mexico.
Is the U.S. a beneficiary right now?
Pardon me?
Is the U.S. a beneficiary right now, or
a small percentage?
Right.
But overall, the U.S. consumer is going to pay more. And in fact, if these tariffs take effect, we're projecting 2 million jobs in the United States will be lost.
Over how long?
In the next year.
In the next year. And I think the numbers you're also projecting, I'll drop a GDP by 1%, $2,000 for the average family. It doesn't sound doomsday, but it sounds pretty significant. Some might not believe those numbers, I guess, is what I'm getting at, because it seems pretty large.
Well, let's bring it down to something really basic, like toys. 88% of toys sold in the United States are manufactured in China. There's no other place in the world that has the capacity to manufacture toys like that. And we're going to see the average American family, we're going to see costs for consumers go up $3.7 billion in toys.
We'll see where this goes. David French, Senior Vice President at the National Retail Federation. Good to have you in studio.
Thank you.
Should mention retail numbers come out tomorrow, by the way, so Fox.
And here's another article from CNN. 600 companies, including Walmart, Costco, and Target, warn Trump on tariffs. And the report goes on to say, we know firsthand that the additional tariffs will have a significant negative and long-term impact on American businesses, farmers, family, and the U.S. economy, the company said in the letters that they wrote to Donald Trump. Then you got CNN. Trump trade war is here to stay. Companies like mine will have to pay the price. So let you know that the trade wars are not going anywhere. So their letters that they are writing, disregard them, because the trade wars are here to stay as we goes into war with Iran. And the report goes on to say, the problem is that it's because increasingly difficult to find a nation that basically has supply and demand like China. There's not. Take a long time and plenty of disasters for it to come. And you see right here exactly what Donald Trump's tweet on Twitter was. The Trump economy is setting records and has a long way up to go. If he's not elected for president, that's the only way it's going to be brought back up. That's what he's using. And the crippling blackout hits tens of millions in South America in Latin American company. Why? It's because it's getting close to election time for presidency. And you know how power and control go. They're at it. It's getting very close to election, and they are actually helping each other. These governments are helping each other. Even as the DHS also tell all Americans to start prepping for up to 6 months without electricity. This is because they are doing all these blackouts all around the world during these election times for the powers to be reelected. Yes, and Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are working together. They are working together. And all these articles that I'm showing you, they will be linked in the description below, so you can go and view them on your own time. And here are ways to start prepping: stock up on food and water, have cash on hand, start becoming more self-reliant, stock up on firearms and some others, because it is going to go down once they put martial law into play. It's going down. Even right here, you got the Homeland Security, NIAC. Surviving a catastrophic power outage. They're going to hit you with it, guys. They're going to hit us with it. And it's not going to be fun and games when it does, because it's going to be a lot of starving, a lot of death. Here you got on Zero Hedge another report how Trump just signed the executive EMP order. Here on Washington Post, Trump issued an executive order to prepare for EMP attack. It's going down, you guys. This is real. Trump is counting on Putin's help in 2020 because they are helping each other win the election. Putin is helping Trump win the election. That's the reason why we're going to have that outage. Because Trump is going to let them hack into our power grid and cut off the lights on us, because it's going to benefit him. Look at these articles. How Russia can spend money to influence the 2020 elections legally. Loopholes in the federal law allows foreigners to inject cash into the U.S. election. This is real, and they are doing it. The 2020 president campaign are still vulnerable to cyber attacks. Here's why. Most Americans aren't yet paying a lot of attention to the 2020 presidential campaign. The same can be said for Russian spies. Aside the adversaries to the vast field of Democrats, hopeful and ringing alarm bells, telling their bosses they should assume the massacre is lying the groundwork of all of it to hack into the U.S. election. Yes, they are planning this behind closed doors. This is the meeting that Donald Trump and Putin just recently had. What was going down in that meeting? Talks about the elections, I bet. Talks about the elections. All these articles flashing by your screen. There's going to be a link down in the description. U.S. cyber attacks may be doing Putin a favor, because Putin is also trying to be still in office after 2024, and so is Donald Trump. They both have the same agendas. This is why they are helping each other. With all these blackouts that's going on across the world, they're doing it, and you see it is happening as it get closer and closer to elections. Through 3 ways Putin could stay in power after 2024. They both have. He's trying to stay in power as long as he can, and then when he does step down, he has someone in place that's just like him. Democratic. They are Democrat parties and they're helping each other. And these are the scenarios. And then you have here on Independent, Trump lashes out suggesting he could stay in office after 2 terms. And going into the report, Donald Trump has suggested American people would ask him to stay in the White House beyond the 2 terms. This is going on for real. Why Russia will help the Democratic next? Because they're all in the same game together. So all the foods and everything that's about to disappear, they all doing it. It's going to be doing the same thing in Russia too. It's going down. And thank you guys for tuning in. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring that bell. Stay updated to all my videos I come out with each and every week. And I'm out.